I'm sorry.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello,
I'm Oliver the Ricketts.
I am Brittany.
and I'm Marco.
I'm so fucking excited because we're going to go see the new Halloween.
The only official sequel, right?
Yes.
John Carpenter's original Halloween is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm excited.
I'm excited, but I'm also anxious. I do not like horror films. I did like the original Halloween just because I really didn't think it was all that scary. It was more like suspenseful. I'm hoping that it's more in the same vein of the original and not like Rob Zombie's fucking Halloween, because that was goddamn disturbing. Like for real, just disturbing. I couldn't handle it. But I'm hoping that it'll be good and that it'll be other redeeming qualities other than it just being a horror film.
I'm interested just to see how they're going to continue the story and how they're going to kind of just disregard the other movies that have been made. And I'm not like super familiar with the Halloween franchise. I don't dislike horror movies, but I do find myself not enjoying a lot of horror movies.
If they can make this less about him and more about the character and the effect that it's had on the character of Laurie, if they can make it more about that and about vengeance and make it, a movie, that'd be something special.
I'm excited to see Jamie Lee Curtis in this role because I do really like her. I'm really excited to see her. I do consider her to be like the classic Scream Queen, and this is hopefully kind of finish up her story, and I hope she does kill Michael Myers. That's my prediction. But as we've seen with these movies, I don't think he ever truly dies.
I want to see Jamie Lee Curtis kind of pull a Sarah Connor Terminator 2 type role where she's just like a badass.
Yeah, we should go see the movie.
Yeah,
we're
let's
gonna
go
go
see
in.
the movie.
Hi.
Hello.
So we just got out of this new Halloween 2018. I really like this movie for about the first 30 minutes. And after that, it's a fucking steaming pile of garbage. Oh my god, this is fucking bad, man. This is... The worst thing about this whole thing is people are honestly comparing it to the original and holding it up on that standard and saying it's like one of the best movies of the year. And I guess I just don't see what's so special about it.
I can't get on board with the rest of viewers when they just want to like a movie or all this stuff, and it's like it happened with Venom, and it's like now it's gonna happen with Halloween, where it's like we're idolizing these movies and making them to be like, oh, this is cinematic masterpiece. It's not just a great horror movie, it's a great movie, period. Like, I didn't think that at all. I just wasn't into it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about like the first 20 minutes or so being redeemable. I don't even give it that much. Honestly, I don't think there was really anything redeemable about this movie at all, and I'm really confused as to why the critics
And the fans.
are loving this movie. Honestly, all I saw from it was randomness, misplaced comedy, and a shit ton of callbacks.
I'll be fair, I do have a lot of things that I like about this movie, and if it had come together more, I really think this could have been something special. They just took such a weird misstep in the middle somewhere. Yeah. When the story is about Jamie Lee Curtis and her family and how her being a victim has affected her, not just her, but generations of her family, that's where the story is. There's a real movie behind that, which I think is the biggest issue with horror right now, is that these guys know they don't have to make a real movie anymore. They can crank out these things that people will go to at midnight and be scared for a day, and that'll make their money. Glad the first act didn't want to be that, but then the second act wants to be Halloween 1, and the third act wants to be exactly what I just said. A lot of homage to the Halloween series, which at first I appreciated to a point until it became
Too much.
Tedious. I think the movie thinks it's a lot more clever than it is and has a lot more charm than it does. I came to see Jamie Lee Curtis versus Michael, and that's not what I got. For about 30 minutes, she's the star. And then I actually leaned over to you at one point and said, we are getting no Jamie Lee Curtis at all. You'll get a clip of her driving her car or a clip of her holding a gun, and that's it.
I don't know if I have positives, but that's only because I don't like horror films. So it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, I really liked when this happened, because I didn't really like any of it and I was terrified the entire time. That being said, you know, according to the other two people in this car, this movie was not even that scary. I can't speak to that either because I'm scared at movies that aren't scary. I wanted to see Jamie Lee Curtis because I like her as an actress. That was what I said beforehand. So I enjoyed seeing her. Did I want more of her? Yes. I felt like the movie kind of was spreading itself too thin at certain points. There was too much going on that was far too convenient for a movie that wants to pretend to be as smart as it is. And if you want to have a smart movie, you can't play dumb to your viewers then. There's these murders happening, but it's like, how did Michael Myers even end up here? He was in a mental institution for 40 years. How did he drive a car? There are things that, like, I guess people have to excuse in order for there to be a movie and for there to be a plot, but, like, I don't want to go around and pretend like this is some really smart, really deep and, you know, groundbreaking horror film when it's making the same mistakes and the same stupid tropes that other horror films that are not good have done.
There's really only one thing that I feel like I somewhat enjoyed about this movie, and that was the fact that even though Jamie Lee Curtis had been preparing for her rematch, I guess, with Michael Myers, even though she was as prepared as she could probably maybe be mentally, she still was flawed while, like, rematching with him, and the fact that, you know, she wasn't just this, like, stone cold killer all of a sudden, where she still was traumatized by him and fearful of him at the same time. I really didn't like that there were a lot of scenes that, like, were honestly kind of pointless. There were a lot of characters that were given a lot of exposition that were completely pointless, and it really, I feel, took away from the main story that was happening. For me, yeah, there was just a lot of things that I feel like just didn't make sense, and I get maybe they were trying to be, like, cheeky. As I said previously, like, I mean, I've seen a lot of horror movies. There's not many I love. I usually tend to like the making fun of horror movies more than the actual horror movies themselves. This movie just really didn't offer anything for me. Like, I didn't really feel tense in any of the scenes. I didn't care much for any of the characters they brought in. I mean, other than Jamie Lee Curtis, and that was about it. I give this movie an F, honestly.
Wow.
I give it an F. Like, had I not seen this movie, my life would be no different. Now that I've seen this movie, my life is no different. Other than me just trying to now tell people to pretty much avoid this movie because I don't see why people love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I guess, go along the same lines, and I think I'm just gonna give it a D. I don't think it deserves an F. I think a really dog shit movie that I hated the entire way through would be an F for me. I can see the merit, like I said, in what they were trying to do. I enjoyed what little I saw of Jamie Lee Curtis. I enjoyed the little bits that I saw of Judy Greer. I just like them as actresses. There really wasn't too many other redeeming qualities for me, and I just don't like horror movies, so that's going to affect my score as well.
Just as an overall, I think they tried to do something, you know, with the saga and the legacy of Michael Myers, but you put it in a place where I started somewhere where I didn't want to see anymore. Then the trailers came out, and I was really excited. And walking out of this movie, the first thing I said to you was, I will never see another one of these movies again. A lot of potential with that first act. Again, I do like the stuff that they do with Laurie and Laurie's family, but she's not in this movie a whole lot. And a lot of pointless characters whose stories go nowhere. The movie's focus is all over the place, but it thinks it can get away with it by just referencing that first movie. And for all of these reasons, and because it was a disappointment, this gets a D+.
D for disappointment.
D for disappointment. The only thing saving it from being an F is that the first act had me. Alright, I'm done with this.
I'm done with it.
Yeah, let's...
Done with the woods.
Close the book on it.
This will be on my worst of list.